Welcome to Step 2, Invite Others to Travel with You. Hi, my name is Joey Yarber, and I'm your co-host of this empowering training series. Now it's time to invite others to travel with you on this adventurous journey to a more networked, collaborative, and comprehensive approach for transforming people's lives. For convenience, step number 2 is divided into 2 parts. In this presentation, we'll make recommendations as to how to get to know staff and volunteers from other helping agencies in your community. Cast vision for an innovative, agile, and adaptive way to address complex community challenges. And invite community stakeholders to explore the possibilities of building a vibrant, healthy community. Let's begin. Here's Mike.
I mentioned in the introduction to this training series that each step presented will have a key challenge, action steps, and measurable results. For step 2, your key challenge will be your success in casting a clear, concise, and compelling vision for positive changes that inspire others to act. This sounds simple, but it can be challenging, especially if you cannot answer questions that people will most likely ask. Questions like, why do this? Or how do we make this happen? Or who needs to be involved? The answers to these questions can inflate or deflate interest among community stakeholders. Your action steps include taking the time to identify stakeholders who truly care about community, its people, potential, and possibilities. Invite them to join in friendly conversations about a better way to find, align, and collectively coordinate local resources. And then begin the connection process, which sets the stage for increased communication and cooperation among all helping agencies. Measurable results will soon happen. People across the community will begin to see the value and benefits of working together for common good and greater impact. As I mentioned in the introduction to the training series, we see an emerging trend among diverse helping agencies that are realizing that it takes a whole community to successfully transform people's lives. So they are willing to combine and align their unique strengths, including their knowledge, expertise, and resources. They are building trusting relationships among each other and engaging in cross-sector collaboration that explores possibilities, promotes best practices, and co-creates effective solutions. Agencies are striving for greater collective action that produces large-scale social change, and they are using evidence-based results to clearly define what works and what doesn't. They believe that an effective community-wide helping system, energized by collective action, will do more to impact people's lives, their neighborhoods, and their whole community as well. A good example of this would be the effects of throwing a rock into a pond and watching the ripples that flow out from the point of impact. The bigger the rock, the bigger the impact, with far-reaching results. Community stakeholders are learning that necessary steps must be taken to build a better together civic culture that will help maximize the collective caring power of their community. This culture supports a new context where people can connect, learn from each other, and collaborate for the well-being of others. We are learning that these steps are progressive in nature. Each step includes the possibility of creating a new catalytic infrastructure that supports continuous innovation, broader civic engagement, and allows collective impact to emerge. Once in place, this infrastructure will pave the way for lasting solutions that can move the needle on complex community challenges. Please keep in mind that these 8 steps that we recommend are a framework or a suggestive approach to transformation. We are discovering that each community's path toward new ways of thinking and acting are influenced by the cultural values of its citizens, associations, and institutions. Therefore, every community is unique and strives for positive changes in its own unique ways and timing. Steps 1, 2, and 3 are about better communication among all helping agencies in a community. This involves the creation of a mutually beneficial exchange of knowledge and experience. Why? Because most communities are plagued by siloed service gaps where helping agencies are not connected and do not talk to one another. Better communications is the first step in bridging the gap where agencies become more aware of each other. This helps to ensure that agencies are better connected, informed, and engaged. Steps 4, 5, and 6 are about increased cooperation among all helping agencies across a community. This involves commonly shared mission aligned for greater impact. This is where silo walls begin to come down, paving the way for community partnerships. As a result, helping agencies learn to value and respect each other more. Steps 7 and 8 are about cross-sector collaboration, which is an ongoing process that leads to the realization of a better together framework. This involves the synergistic creation of best practices and lasting solutions. This is when silos become more interdependent and rely upon one another for support and collaboration. This results in the development of co-created solutions. This is something that silos cannot do apart from each other. The glue that cements a better together culture is trusting relationships, which must be supported by good communication that flows freely and constantly. But we have discovered that most communities are plagued by fragmentation, where helping agencies are disconnected and do not talk to each other. In fact, most agencies and the people they serve are unaware of the vast array of agencies and resources that are readily available throughout their community. This causes siloed service gaps that cause rampant and wasteful duplication of efforts, and it frustrates people who are forced to run all over town hoping to find resources. So, we offer solutions to these problems by helping communities create their own web-based and highly secure central repository of interactive communication and shared information. Helping agencies use this to gather a HIPAA-compliant, collective exchange of vast amounts of mutually beneficial knowledge and information that is constantly updated in real time. Information is available on demand by way of sophisticated security protocols. Networked helping agencies can access data anytime, anywhere, via a computer, laptop, or tablet connected to the internet. This exchange ensures that helping agencies become more aware of other agencies that can contribute resources to people's needs. This is the first step in bridging the gap between agency silos and sets the stage for a stronger community-wide social safety net. So you might be thinking, I get it. So where do I start to make this happen in my community? Well, as mentioned in our last session, this all starts by simply getting to know other stakeholders in your community. We have discovered that every community has a vast amount of loving, caring people who really want to make a difference with their lives. Many are already engaged in helping others and are willing to explore better ways to serve those who are facing hardship. You can be the catalyst for ensuring that everyone in your community is aware of ways for people to be better served, agencies to be better informed, and your community to be better engaged. Once a vision for change that is a new reality becomes a deeply entrenched passion within your heart, it can help inspire others to join with you in exploring new ways of thinking and acting. You must now help others to see the importance for immediate action and the life-changing and mutual benefits of working together on common goals. You must paint a vivid picture of current realities in contrast with a desired future that others want and can make happen. Keep in mind that you are probably not alone in your desires. Chances are, within your social connections are others who have already been enlightened with your same vision as well. A conversation over a cup of coffee might bring this to light and get the ball rolling. When engaging with others, especially new acquaintances, keep in mind the following truth. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. To be quite honest, most people are suspicious of political rhetoric or lofty visions that support self-interests and isolation. We strongly encourage you to be open and honest about your hopes and intentions. This will go a long way in building trusting relationships and community partnerships. We strongly encourage you to develop a communication strategy that will work well with the many different stakeholders across your community. Decide what forms of communication are needed, at what frequency, and for how long. This will require a substantial amount of planning, coupled with a flexible process that must be customized to your community's demographics and culture. Be prepared to experiment with various means of communication, including one-on-one conversations, group presentations, printed materials, and other helpful means. Through a variety of means, communicate your heartfelt desires to potential fellow travelers, those who are willing to join with you on your transformational journey. Your communication may start with family, friends, and coworkers, and then move out to other helping agents in your community. Invite others to view the same research and testimonies that inspire your vision. Engage in conversations about the urgent needs in your community. Ask people for their honest opinion regarding your community's ability to successfully address poverty, hunger, and other complex challenges. Remember, every community has passionate people who are waiting for marching orders, for action that makes sense. Some are already active, some are inactive, and still others, for whatever reason, have simply never been asked to help that taps into their personal interests and concerns. All of us, from time to time, should be awakened to urgent realities that impact our lives and others in our community. Some practical tips for awakening include developing a communication strategy that casts a compelling, commonly shared vision for change that motivates, challenges, and inspires people to get busy right now. Communications must be able to culturally speak language that people will listen to, contemplate, and understand. This should include facts, statistics, credible reports, and personal testimonies. Your communication strategy should include a vision statement. This is important for casting a clear, compelling, and urgent case for immediate action. Consider using language that suggests a big opportunity is at hand. Consider the following example. Because of urgent need A and our special capability B, we have a very real and exciting opportunity to offer service C and substantially realize D benefits that will impact people's lives and our community for years to come. A well-crafted big opportunity should be something that everyone can understand and communicate well to others. Let us look at the effective ways of creating a big opportunity statement. These suggestions are taken from the book entitled Accelerate by John Cotter, who is a Harvard professor and world-renowned expert in change management. According to Cotter, the most effective big opportunity statement seems to have these characteristics. It is short. It can be written on less than a page, often just a quarter of a page. Its length makes it easier to share with others and thus easier to create a sense of urgency around it among large groups of people. It is rational. It makes sense in light of real happenings in the community. A big opportunity statement often addresses issues of what, why us, why now, and why bother, all in a short statement. It is compelling. It also is somehow emotionally compelling, that is, ignites passion and compassion. It is not all head. There is heart in it as well, and it speaks to the hearts of all relevant audiences. It is positive. Because it is all about an opportunity, it has a positive tone. It is less like a statement about a burning platform, which seeks to scare us out of our complacency, and more like a statement of a burning desire. It is authentic. It feels real. It is not just good messaging that might motivate the troops. The leadership team that puts it together, or at least signs off on it, genuinely believes it and feels very excited about it. It is clear. You can create a statement that is short, rational, and emotionally compelling, but still unclear. A lack of clarity will always, at some point, undermine the development of your heart-filled desires. It is aligned. An effective big opportunity statement is not an either-or demand that puts down or competes with other initiatives in order to lift itself up. It is a both-and value proposition that aligns and complements existing initiatives in your community that may have been in place for many years. In summary, your big opportunity should paint the big picture of a future that can easily happen if people and organizations are willing to work together. It must be rational, that is, why us, and why now. And it must be emotionally compelling, that is, a sincerely positive and authentic appeal to the heart. It also should be memorable, that is, clear, short, and with no jargon. And it should easily align or walk alongside of community-focused strategic plans that have been in place for many years. As you plan your communication strategy, keep in mind that the acceptance of new ideas is perceived in different ways by different people. Not everyone will instantly grasp what you are saying about your journey toward comprehensive, coordinated care. We have discovered that innovation or new ideas go through progressive stages of acceptance over time, and different kinds of people with unique personalities can impact acceptance as well. The research behind this was popularized by Everett Rogers in his book entitled The Diffusion of Innovation. We find that these realities are apparent in most settings where lots of people are involved. This could be an association or organization. It could also be a neighborhood or your whole community. We often find that stakeholders who are innovators or early adopters are easier to talk with about accepting new ways of thinking and acting. We often call them change agents. Another emerging term to describe innovators or early adopters is disruptors, a term popularized by the best-selling book Disruptive Innovation by Clayton Christensen. Change agents are very enthusiastic, vision-driven, and like to take risks that hold great promise and hope. They are very optimistic about positive changes, and they are self-motivated with a bias for action. Early and late majority stakeholders are very practical and like to wait and see what others in their community are doing. They are not big fans of change, but can be swayed by proven successes. They are cautiously optimistic about emerging trends, and they can be influenced by popular opinion, whether positive or negative. Laggards are stakeholders that are very skeptical and suspicious of any form of change. Unfortunately, they can be naysayers and complainers. Don't get discouraged when you run across this type of stakeholder. We have stories from communities where laggers completely changed their position and became strong advocates for change. The best way to work with people who fall into these different categories is with open and honest dialogue. If people can easily see that you truly care about people and your community, they will at least respect your motivation and mission. So, you are armed with apparent realities, facts, and figures that should awaken people to the urgent needs in your community. But before you rush out the door to make your case for comprehensive coordinated care, be prepared to cast a vision that is clear, concise, and compelling. Make sure you know exactly what you are going to say. Most of the community stakeholders you encounter will ask questions that you should be prepared to answer. Whether openly stated or not, common concerns will need to be addressed in a way that makes people feel comfortable about moving forward with further discussions. Some of these include, why do this now? What's in it for me? Who else is on board? What is the cost? Who gets the credit? Do not make the mistake that I have made many times. When I'm really excited about something, I can't wait to share my enthusiasm with others. I start out with the intentions of briefly sharing my thoughts, but soon realize that my presentation, along with my passion and enthusiasm, requires more time than others have to share. So I rush through my presentation and then wonder, did others really listen to or truly understand what I was talking about? When engaging people in conversations, keep in mind that sharing information does not necessarily lead to shared understanding. I learned this many years ago. There are different ways people perceive and process information. People's different personalities, education, experience, and even their age can factor into this. Do not get discouraged with some stakeholders that simply don't get it the first time they are presented with opportunities and possibilities. There are successful ways to ensure shared understanding, which I will address later. Also, I learned that it is extremely difficult to ask others to do something that I am not willing to do myself. We cannot be like those who say, we desperately need to see some changes to happen around here, so let it begin with my wife, my boss, our community leaders. Be prepared to explore possibilities first and alone if this is needed for a season. Your actions must speak louder than your words. This will give others opportunities to see how much you truly care about helping others and are willing to boldly take the next steps toward best practices. Be encouraged that your passion and commitment for helping others can be very contagious. This may not happen as fast as you might hope, but rest assured that it will happen as new ways of thinking and acting emerge as best practices. This will eventually make sense to other stakeholders as greater outcomes become a reality. Hopefully, new community values will be celebrated and anchored into your civic culture. Now that you have a better understanding as what to expect when engaging with others, your next goal is to identify other community stakeholders, those who will be targeted with your communication strategy. This will include many types of stakeholders throughout your community, especially those who will become part and parcel of comprehensive, coordinated care. It is not necessary at this phase of your journey to identify all the pieces to the puzzle. This will take much time and effort, which is a task that is best addressed by a team of people. Start by identifying those who share similar passion and interest for a particular way of helping others. Some agencies will specialize in emergency relief, such as food, clothing, and shelter. Others will specialize in medical services, education, or training. I wish I could tell you that a certain set of stakeholders are the best way to start a community conversation with, but it is different for every community we work with. In some communities, the United Way and its partners are the best way to start. In other communities, it has been a ministerial alliance or a faith-based coalition of helping others. We have also seen it happen with those who are engaged in combating homelessness and food insecurity. And now hospitals are leading the way in some communities. It does not really matter how things get started as long as your vision and plans stay inclusive, something that all helping agencies throughout your community can be part of. Once you have identified stakeholders and developed a customized communication strategy, now it is time to connect people, those whose hearts are inspired and are ready for innovative action. Remember, relationships require a considerable amount of invested time and trust building. Never shortcut this effort or hurry the process by forsaking people for the sake of the program. People are your most valuable assets in building new capacities for transformation. Never underestimate any relationship. At times you might be talking to someone, whether it's obvious or not, that could become a powerful and influential advocate for comprehensive, coordinated care. Also keep in mind that birds of a feather flock together. Nonprofit leaders are better at connecting with other nonprofit leaders. Church leaders are better at connecting with other church leaders. The same is true with healthcare providers, school counselors, and others. Each grouping seems to have its own unique language and mindset that is most comfortable with them. Your efforts in making connections will be greatly accelerated by finding and enlisting the support of community connectors who enjoy engaging people in meaningful conversations. I believe every community has a large host of community connectors. They seem to have a gift for making connections and building trusting relationships. John McKnight and Peter Block, authors of The Abundant Community, say, "Some may be called leaders, most will not, because compared with the leader, a connector has a very different role in the community. A leader is a person at the front of the room who acts as a voice for the community. A connector is in the middle of the room, often unrecognized, but always creating new relationships and often acting in a modest way. Community connectors are energized with great passion, self-motivation, and a strong bias for action. They are not shy, but fearless and welcome a challenge. They are not afraid to talk to anyone in your community, and they are great at communicating knowledge and wisdom. So, where do you find these precious jewels in your community? Well, do not be surprised where to find them. They can be of any age or come from any walk of life. They could be a person who frequently volunteers his or her time at helping agencies in your community. They may be on staff at different agencies and serve as a community impact director, public relations specialist, or resource development consultant. They may also be executive leaders of civic-minded organizations or elected officials who are very passionate about community. You would be wise to join forces with these people, inviting them to join with you and others toward new ways of thinking and acting. Keep in mind that increased connectivity is one of your essential goals. You will need to encourage people, organizations, and institutions to connect, learn from each other, and be willing to explore emerging trends and best practices. This is a way for building capacity for a better together civic culture where helping agencies learn how to align their unique strengths and collectively tackle tough community challenges with greater impact and success. This will happen as trusting relationships are strengthened between people who are passionate about making a difference with their lives. Eventually, out of these intentional efforts will emerge a coalition of people who will lead and manage changes that are needed to accomplish commonly shared goals. Some people will need lots of time, just like you did in the beginning, to process the need and benefits of new ways of thinking and acting. Hopefully, you will connect rather quickly with innovators and early adopters who are very anxious to get started and see results. Do not get discouraged by encounters with people who are uncomfortable with change. Some people cling hard to their habits and routines. Others fear that change will somehow undermine their control of situations or diminish their authority, power, or stature. It has been our experience in working with communities that there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of people just waiting to connect with others with like passion and vision. They are searching for meaningful opportunities to make a difference. What you have to say may be the catalyst that engages them in collective action about things that matter most to their hearts and minds. Finding those who care enough to act can be an adventurous journey into the realm of potential and possibilities.
Hey, thanks, Mike. When beginning the community conversation, it's so important to bring others into the dialogue. Many times we see the early adopters diving right in immediately to do their part in spreading the word and creating that energy that is essential to make this successful. Other times, a group with the same kind of service, the same kind of goals can really rally each other. For instance, churches. They're usually interested in reducing duplication of effort and being better stewards. Being able to bring in several churches so that they can see the potential collaboration and working together, that's really helpful in creating the vision. Healthcare agencies, such as hospitals, they see collaboration many times as necessary, especially from a referral type scenario with their community partners and reducing emergency room visits that frankly don't help the patient in a long-term scenario. Social service agencies, they're many times focused on community data, which can be very effective in securing grants. This very strategy was employed in our Charity Tracker network in Champaign, Illinois. Though the lead agency was a hospital, they understood that all of the various cross sectors needed to be part of the collaboration to be successful. Each cross sector group and their unique focus was engaged. And though each had their own goals, they were able to understand that they are and were indeed better together. Engaging various agencies that have various goals and understanding their respective pain points is very important to be able to bring everyone to the table to create the energy that leads to a successful comprehensive care network. In step 2, part 2, we'll show you the secret sauce for getting people to work together. We'll introduce you to the different types of conversations that build community partnerships and drive collective action. For more information about this training series, you can always call us here at Simon Solutions, area code 256-764-0633, or email joey@simonsolutions.com or mike@simonsolutions.com. We're honored that you are part of this training series.